Happy New Year. As we begin this new year, let's begin it with a fresh commitment to spending time with the Lord on a daily basis. Today, after a break for the holidays, we're going to turn our attention back to the book of Philippians, where we have been reading and praying through this little letter of Paul's, verse by verse each day. Today we come to chapter 4 in verses 2 and 3. What a great passage to begin the new year. He writes in Philippians 4, verses 2 through 3. I plead with Euodia and I plead with Syntyche to agree with each other in the Lord. Yes, and I ask you, loyal yokefellow, help these women who have contended at my side in the cause of the gospel, along with Clement and the rest of my fellow workers, whose names are in the book of life. Seems there are two Christian ladies within the Philippian church who are having serious issues getting along with each other. Can you imagine having your name in the #1 best-selling book in human history, the Bible, for your inability to get along with another person? There'll always be contentious people in our little world. What grabs our attention here is that these two combatants are both Christians. Paul wrote about them, these women have contended at my side in the cause of the gospel. Their names are in the book of life. They're not only Christians, but undoubtedly they're hardworking and truly committed Christians. The word contended is the word sonatheo. It means to compete along with others. It comes from two words, son and athleo. Athleo is the word we get athlete from, and son means together. So in the past, these two have competed and worked as teammates together for a common cause. In other words, they had it in them to be cooperative team members. But now, for some reason, they no longer could do that with each other. It almost sounds like a personal issue or a personality issue between these two women. Paul had a plea. He said, I exhort you to. The word exhort means to beg, to entreat, or to summon. Paul's begging them to put aside their differences and to work together. To be exact, he's asking these two female workers to have the same mind in the Lord. He uses a combination of words. He uses the word phroneo, which means to think, to judge, to care for, or to observe. Scholars say it refers to an inner perspective that affects your outward behavior. It means to have the same personal opinion so that your outward behavior is affected. My simple translation would be, it would be like saying this: you guys think this way so that you can act this way. For Paul, the key to these women getting along was for each of them to begin to think or to view things differently than they had. As we begin this new year, many of us do so carrying a lot of baggage from last year. This is especially true in the area of our thoughts and our expectations when it comes to people we have relationships with. So often we think or expect people in our lives to act, respond, or behave in a certain way. When these people don't act the way that we think they ought to act, we get upset. Here is where so many relationships rub each other the wrong way. That's why we refer to it as friction between us. This new year, it's possible that we have to change the way we think about other people. I read the other day that a key to learning how to get along with people is to not expect them to act or to be like you. Many of us have a hard time with people who think, act, or conduct themselves in a manner different than we do. We cannot understand how something bothers them because it doesn't bother us. We can't see how they can tolerate certain things when we cannot tolerate them. We just don't get how they can get by with that. This shows up in relationships like the one Euodia and Syntyche had. Working together at the church, they may simply have approached things differently. Many of us have control issues. We want things to be like we want them to be. We expect things to be done our way. We do that because we're convinced our way is the right way, and anything less than our way has to be wrong or below our expectations. We get touchy, irritable, or grouchy when things do not happen the way we expect them to happen or in the time we expect them to happen. We may not want to be in charge, but we sure want to be able to sit back and grade those who are in charge. Historically, the church is a place where conflict arises. This is so because the issues in the work in the church most often require teamwork. That's also true in close relationships. One of our goals for the new year should be to ask God to help us change the way we think about other people. We need to ask God to help us be tolerant of people who think differently than we do, to accept the fact that we may approach an issue from a different perspective than they do or we do. Their ideas may be different than ours. Their methods may not be the same as ours. Their work habits may not be the same as ours. One of the ways we can change our thinking is to ask God to help us understand that different is not wrong, it's just different. Ask God today to help us learn to get along with people who are trying to maybe get to the same place as we are, but are taking a different route to get there. Yes, there are some principles that are worth dying for, fighting for. Yet not every difference of opinion is a mountain we must plant our flag on and declare this a no-retreat zone. A sign of spiritual maturity is knowing which battles are worth fighting over and which ones are to be noted as simply a different approach or a different philosophy. Paul would write to the Romans in Romans 12:18, do all that you can do to live in peace with everyone. As you begin the new year, take stock of the people in your life that seem to be sources of irritation and conflict. Is it possible that you can change your attitude and learn to work together with them in the Lord? Perhaps God can grow you by teaching you how to get along with them. Here's a good thought for today. Different is not wrong, it's just different. And here's a great prayer to pray as we finish. God, help me to not be so demanding of other people. Help me to not always have to have things done my way and on my terms. Help me to be more tolerant of other ideas and other people. God bless you and Happy New Year.